WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Quentin Smith. New tonight, we're seeing the mugshot of the teenager who police say is accused of shooting his own father. On your screen is 19-year-old Michael Sullivan. He was arrested yesterday after being released from a local psychological facility. Police say he's charged with first-degree murder. You may recall the shooting happened in the 500 block of Lumpkin Avenue on Monday night. Police say they found 62-year-old Floyd Sullivan Sr. dead with gunshot wounds. Now, Sullivan is also the stepfather of a well-known rap duo from right here in North Mississippi, Ray Shrimmer. Sullivan was denied bond today in Tupelo Municipal Court. Here in Columbus, police say they have a suspect in a weekend shooting. They're not releasing the suspect's name at this time. They're waiting on the warrant to make an arrest. Now, that shooting happened Sunday evening near 6th Street and 5th Avenue South. Police believe the victim and the suspect were in a verbal altercation that escalated to the shooting. The victim, who was airlifted to a hospital, has since been released. A controversial bill will come back up at the state capitol this session. It's being called an anti-gang bill. Courtney Ann Jackson has the details.
Some lawmakers are raising their hand to say they've tried to crack down on the gang problem with legislation in the past.
It shows you what we've been saying 3 years ago, and that was that these are an issue. And by all accounts, the gangs are the problem that's created this latest incident in the NDOC.
Senator Bryce Wiggins plans to file an anti-gang bill again this session. The bill would require that gang members get longer prison terms. Some versions have also included that prisoners found to be involved in a gang wouldn't qualify for early release.
I'm not saying that that bill will be the panacea to solve it all, but it's part of a whole package that we need to be looking at, including funding, by the way, to bring the salaries up for our DOC officers.
Similar versions have been filed in the House in the past. Representative Bill Kincaid says they'll also file again with some minor changes.
Identifying what is a gang was the biggest thing. You know, the Boy Scout troop is not a gang, it's a group. So we just have to clean up some of the language, make it a little narrower on how we identify what a gang is.
But Senator Derek Simmons says the pushback will continue.
Wouldn't want to just pass legislation just because of what's going on in our correctional facilities right now, and that legislation end up hurting us more than we already are suffering.
Simmons says some members have feared the bill could lead to racial profiling and ultimately be a setback from the state's previous prison reforms.
Outcome would be increased prison population, longer prison sentences, when the speculation may very well be false or misguided from the beginning.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
And of course, we'll be sure to keep you posted on what happens with this legislation during this year's session. Within the next month, Amy residents will be able to legally purchase an adult beverage. In a special election, residents voted to legalize the sale of beer, alcohol, and light wine. And now city leaders are moving forward with adopting 2 new ordinances. The Board of Aldermen held a public hearing allowing residents to weigh in on both of those ordinances. Now, the new law is set to go into effect in early February. To read up on both of those ordinances, just visit our website at WCBI.com. Today, Iran's supreme leader called his country's attack a slap in the face to America. Tonight, we're finding out more about the missiles, where they hit, and how U.S. forces knew they were coming. CBS's David Martin has the latest from the Pentagon.
The missiles were launched from 3 different locations in western Iran, only minutes flying time from their targets in Iraq. U.S. officials say Iran launched a total of 16 short to medium-range missiles, mostly at Al-Assad Air Base northwest of Baghdad, but also some at Erbil in northern Iraq. Commercial satellite photos of Al-Assad show the craters left by the 1,000 and 2,000-pound warheads. Some officials suggested Iran had aimed to miss, in other words, hit the bases without causing casualties. But Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley, speaking to reporters off camera, didn't think so.
They were intended to cause structural damage, destroy vehicles and equipment and aircraft, and to kill personnel.
U.S. intelligence had been watching for days as Iran brought its missile force to a higher state of alert. Iranian television showed elaborate underground bunkers where the missiles could be prepared for launch out of sight from spy satellites. Still, a defense official said the bases in Iraq had multiple hours warning before the launches. Plenty of time for troops to take shelter in bunkers, a frequent drill since they are used to being shelled by local militias. Our movement saved American lives, one officer said.
No American or Iraqi lives were lost because of the precautions taken, the dispersal of forces, and an early warning system that worked very well.
General Milley said he expects Iranian-backed militias in Iraq and elsewhere to continue attacking American positions. Just a short time ago, 2 rockets landed in Baghdad's Green Zone outside the American embassy. This time, there were no casualties. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
We have a clear sky tonight still, with temperatures falling down into the 40s in most spots, with winds out of the south and east between 3 and 8 miles an hour. Down to 39 in Columbus, the cool spot. It is 47 in Ackerman, 48 in Winona, Tupelo at 47, still at 50 in Houston. Into tonight, temperatures will drop down into the mid to upper 30s, some spots still into the low 40s. We'll see clouds build in after midnight. Look for a mix of sun and clouds to start our day tomorrow. But the chances there for some strong to severe storms as we head into Friday and Saturday across the entire region here. Coming up later on in the show, what we'll do is break down the threat for you. We'll talk about the impacts we expect. I also have the threat meter for you, and we'll take a full look at your 7-day forecast.
Northeast Mississippi Community College gets a big honor from Apple Computers. Our Allie Martin tells us what this means to students and staff.
Instructors at Northeast Mississippi Community College not only teach students using iPads, but they also spend time in the classroom learning about the latest innovations.
I can have both of these open at the same time.
Several years ago, NEMCC began the One Northeast initiative. Under that program, each student gets an iPad, and many faculty have dropped traditional textbooks and have created their own textbooks, which students can access on those devices. It has helped save students $6 million in textbook costs alone.
We've also seen our student success, and that's the number of A's, B's, and C's in class increase significantly over the last 4 years.
As an English instructor, we use the iPad in almost everything we do. So they are now typing their essays on the iPad. We use apps every day, different apps to edit our papers.
That success and use of technology was highlighted during a celebration announcing NEMCC's designation as an Apple Distinguished School. Saving students money on textbooks and improving academic success rates are all important, but administrators say one of the biggest advantages to the emphasis on technology inside and outside of the classroom is that it better prepares students for the workforce in 2020 and beyond.
At the end of the day, our students must be able to function on a global society, in a global society, in a global economy. And that's our job as instructors and as institutions of higher learning to make sure that they're able to do that.
NEMCC is one of only 8 Apple Distinguished Schools in the world this year, and the only one in Mississippi. In Boonville, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
The community college was invited by Apple to apply for the Distinguished School Award. Heritage Academy, right here in Columbus, was named an Apple Distinguished School at the high school level just last year. And turning our attention over to weather. So, Jacob, we have some possible storms in our future, huh?
Yeah, I think it's a safe bet, Quentin, that we do get some storms into the area. The question still is how much in the way of severe will they be, and what is that timing looking for? Heading into Saturday morning, strong to severe storms will be off to our west, and I'll tell you more about that coming up right here after the break.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
We had a beautiful day today with lots of sunshine and mild temperatures. The clear sky continues this evening with temperatures falling down into the 40s in most spots. In Columbus, it is 39. There are light south and east winds between 3 and 8 miles an hour. Tonight, temperatures for all of us should fall into the mid to upper 30s. A couple of us may still stay near 40. Clouds will increase later on, but a dry and chilly night ahead of us. Notice by tomorrow, then, we pick up the cloud cover, looking at a mostly cloudy sky into the afternoon. Temperatures will rise into the 60s across the region, and there may very well be an isolated shower as early as after sunset tomorrow evening. As we look at our highs in the region, getting up to 63 in Columbus, 66 in Macon, 64 in Ackerman and in Eupora. I've got 62 in Vernon for our high. Warm weather is there, but we also are watching a system build off to our west. Notice by Thursday afternoon and evening, we are mostly cloudy with perhaps a few isolated showers. As we head into Friday, still a couple showers may carry on in during the morning and afternoon, but our focus really will be off to our west for our severe threat. Notice what happens during the daytime and into Friday evening. Yes, some showers and storms may pass on through, but this line right here is where we get our chance for severe weather. Overnight Friday, that line will march to the east and approach us, I think, into Saturday morning early. And by 6 a.m., I think that line of storms will be off in the Delta. This is where the severe threat we're talking about will come from. But there could be some isolated showers and storms ahead of it that could help to enhance that threat. Now, we've been talking a lot about these threat maps here, a level 3 threat to our west on Friday and on Friday night. Then our area is under a level 3 threat on Saturday, but the maps really don't do a great job at showing what the threats are here moving forward. Let's talk about impacts. If you watch us, this goes for you. Notice our wind threat is the highest threat. We may very well see damaging winds from 60 to 70 miles an hour, and the tornado threat is also there in that line. But if we can get some individual cells ahead of the line, that will bring that threat up a little bit. I'll keep it from 3 a.m. until 3 p.m. as a broad window. There's still some uncertainty because our system is a good 2,000 miles away still. So a slight change in its track will affect us downstream, and we'll be able to fine-tune that forecast timing here in the next 24 hours. Here's what the models have been saying. At 12 o'clock on Saturday, where's that line of storms? Some models have been further to the west, some models further to the east. That's a 200-mile spread here from our data that came in this afternoon. The data tonight will help refine that. But all of the data has been saying rain is coming here 1 to 3 inches area wide with this round. And if you think that's too much, next week as well, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday bring us more rain. Quentin, I think by the time we get to Wednesday, this time next week, we could see areas of 3 to 6 inches of rain with perhaps some locally higher amounts.
So we just started in 2020 and Mother Nature is already unleashing her wrath on us.
She's coming in with a bang this year, that's for sure. A lot of water, unfortunately, and that severe threat, too. A lot of folks asking if we can get some winter weather. We still got February, so not really.
So there is hope. All right. Thank you so much, Jacob. A controversial medical measure will be in the voters' hands this year. We find out more when we come back.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Quentin Smith.
Welcome back. The CDC says the flu virus continues to spread, with many states reporting widespread cases. But the good news is it's not too late to get vaccinated. We learn more about the flu shot in our Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lee Richardson, a physician in the emergency room at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. Tonight I would like to talk to you about the flu vaccination. The single best way to prevent seasonal flu is to get vaccinated each year. Yearly flu vaccination should begin as soon as the vaccine is available. Most of the time, the flu peaks between December and February. It takes about 2 weeks after vaccination for antibodies to develop in the body that protect it against the flu infection. The CDC recommends getting your flu shot by the end of October. We're already seeing patients testing positive for the flu in the ER. Everyone 6 months of age or older should get the flu vaccine every year, especially those at high risk, such as people with chronic pulmonary disease such as asthma, cardiovascular except hypertension, renal, hepatic, neurologic, hematologic, or metabolic disorders including diabetes, and people who are immunosuppressed, including those with HIV. You should also not get a flu shot if you have a severe life-threatening allergy to any of the ingredients in the vaccine, especially eggs. The flu shot cannot give you the flu. The flu vaccine that is administered with a needle is made either of flu vaccine viruses that are inactive or not infectious, or with no flu vaccine viruses at all. If you get flu-like symptoms, you may have other respiratory virus besides flu, or you were exposed to the flu shortly before getting vaccinated or during the 2-week period after vaccination. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, where we will discuss some common sense ways to keep from catching the flu.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle.
In the November general election, voters will decide whether Mississippians will be able to use medical marijuana. The Medical Marijuana 2020 campaign makes the announcement today. A spokesperson for the Secretary of State's office says Initiative 65 was filed on yesterday. Now, under these guidelines of the proposed law, physicians will have the option to certify the use of medical marijuana for certain medical conditions. The alternative treatment option would be regulated by the State Department of Health. Patients would have to get medical marijuana for a treatment center that MSDH would also regulate in real time. Now, I also want to mention limits will be placed on the amount a patient may get over a specific period of time. An ICC basketball player received state recognition for a special performance. More on that honor coming up next in sports.
Here's WCBI Sports with Chris Bolton.
Mississippi State looking to bounce back after the weekend loss to Auburn, taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Bulldogs hoping to avoid back-to-back seasons of 0-2 starts in SEC play. To T-Town we go. Both MSU and Alabama looking for the first conference wins. First half, tie on the break. Kira Lewis Jr. with the ball. Here's Jaden Shackelford on the wing. Buck, that's good. That'll tie the ball game up at 5 apiece. Then Lewis passes, and it gets stolen by Robert Woodard. Pitch ahead to Nick Weatherspoon. He'll lay it in. Weatherspoon had 20 for the game. Then Lewis on the drive, puts up the floater, misses it, but Herbert Jones is there for the tip slam. Bama is up 8. Turnover for MSU. Lewis with the rock. He goes all the way, finishes with the right-hand scoop layup. Alabama up 9. Then John Petty with the rock. Isolation, crossover, step back 3. You know what it is. That's good. He'll have a big-time game. Bama adds on to their lead. And then Lewis, he throws up the alley-oop. That'll be finished by Gallon Smith and Bama. They going to get the win big time over Mississippi State. The final in this one 90-69, dropping the Dogs to 0-2 in conference play to start the year. Here's what some of the players had to say after the game.
Defensive end, we just need to figure it out in transition for the most part. We're giving up too many open threes as well as layups as well. So it's just about getting tough out there and just manning up on defense at this point.
They struggled some in the first half with us contesting some of their jumpers. But though, wow, them threes, we knew they was going to make them. I mean, we seen the game versus Florida. They're going to make open threes, and they're going to make some contested threes. So we just got to learn how to play through that.
Ole Miss softball officially reports to practice for the 2020 season, but will be doing so without one of its most successful coaches, Mike Smith. Now, Smith was suspended in November before officially resigning in December. Interim head coach Ruben Felix will look to lead the Rebels to his 5th straight NCAA tournament appearance and says his team's maturity will get them there.
You know, obviously, change is always not easy for everybody, especially young athletes. But I think they're mature enough to understand that we still have a job to do, and we're still here to do that job. And we're here now, so we got to pick up the pieces and move forward.
I'm just excited to see what the future holds, especially with Coach Felix being coach now. I mean, he's always been with us. He's been with me since my freshman year. He recruited me, so I'm just ready to see what we do and how we're going to move forward for the spring. Just excited about the future.
Ole Miss softball begins February 7th in Clearwater for the NFCA Division I leadoff tournament. Now, preseason polls for the upcoming college baseball season continue to pile up. The Bulldogs and the Rebels reaching the top 20 in a newly released poll. Perfect Game releasing its preseason top 25. Rounding up the top 5, you have number 1 Louisville, number 2 Vanderbilt, number 3 Texas Tech, number 4 Arkansas, and number 5 Arizona State. The Mississippi State tabbed as the 8th best team in the country heading into 2020. 5 SEC teams listed in the top 10. And then also you have Ole Miss. They're tabbed as the 18th best team in the country. You also have other SEC teams like Florida at number 13. You also have LSU at 20 and Texas A&M at 22. And rounding out the top 25, East Carolina at 23, Texas at 24, and Virginia at 25. Ole Miss women's basketball guard Valerie Nesbitt is no longer with the Rebels basketball team. The Oxford Eagle was the first to report. Head coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen telling the Eagle the dismissal coming from, quote, actions that didn't reflect the way I want to run the program. Nesbitt was considered one of the top JUCO point guards in the country when she signed with the Rebels in 2019. And she was also the 2nd leading scorer on the team averaging 11.3 points per game. Hoka native Madarius Hobson named the Mississippi JUCO Player of the Week for his triple-double performance against Volunteer State. Hobson scoring 14 points, along with 10 rebounds and 10 dimes. The sophomore leads the Indians in scoring with 15 points per game. Here's a look at some of the Mississippi JUCO hoop games we have going on tomorrow. ICC at Northeast, Holmes taking on EMCC, Coahoma at Northwest, and East Central at Pearl River.
Some good basketball action coming in, but the Mississippi State Bulldogs dropped to 0-2. That's not the way they want to start.
Man, that's not how we want to start the season, you know. Tough game for them, just couldn't get the shots to fall.
Yes, but they'll have their a rematch against Bama coming up next month, right?
Next month, they'll get their round again at the hump.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. We'll have a last look at your forecast when we come back.
There's a lot of showers and storms on our 7-day forecast, but know that that's mainly because we see batches and rounds, so it's not wall-to-wall rain. But Saturday, for instance, 100%, great bet we're going to see storms at some point. Some of those could be severe. Those updates are on the WCBI mobile app and on the website.
Any wintry weather in the future forecast?
Not in the next 7 days, but I tell you what, we got February to go. Maybe we'll get some done, right?
That's right. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. We hope you have a good night.